You could be the locus of a great mistake. You could be the person with the salve. You could be the things you have.
I ain't afraid to see the sun come down, cause when the sun come down, what goes around comes around.
That's why they're there.
I ain't afraid to see the sun come down, cause when the sun come down, what goes around comes around.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Talk Back for Teens. I'm your host, Zoë Sullivan, and this is my co-host.
I'm Zoe's co-host, and my name is Jeff Crane, and I'm from the superintendent from the West Irondequoit School District. It's nice to join you today, Zoe.
It's good to have everybody here.
Yeah,
So,
introductions?
Yeah, can everyone
Alexis?
introduce themselves, their names, and their school districts? That'd be great.
I'm Alexis Larkin from Spencerport High School.
I'm Sierra Pasco from Spencerport High School.
Quinn Butterman from Spencerport High School.
Fortis Mathona from Spencerport High School.
I'm Thomas Collard from School Without Walls, and I'm also the co-founder of the GIS Scholars.
I'm Victoria Day from Fairport High School.
I'm Frankie Gisson-Danner from Penfield High School.
I'm Renita Williams from Penfield High School.
I'm Fu Tran from Spencerport High School.
I'm Savon Rutledge from Gates Charlotte High School.
I'm Ashley Turcott from Gates Charlotte High School.
I'm Jasmine Thomas from Gates Charlotte High School.
Hello everybody, I'm Billy Harmon and I'm from Gates Charlotte High School.
I'm Miles Perry, I'm from Greece Arcadia, founder of Mosaics.
I'm Jordan Goss, I'm from Greece Arcadia High School, co-founder of Mosaics.
I'm Tondi Moses from Brockport Central School District.
I'm Jonah McPherson from Greece Arcadia.
I'm Malcolm McCullough from Spencerport High School.
I'm Raphael O'Day Jr. from Brockport High.
All right,
Pretty big group. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Thank you, yeah.
Good seeing you again from January.
So, Jeff, can you explain what the summit is and what everyone's participation here is for?
Yes, we were lucky enough to bring 13 different districts together at Irondequoit High School in January to work with our friends from St. Louis and Ferguson, Missouri, known as Gateway to Change. The objective of the day was to allow our high school students generally, although we had a couple of junior high students as well, to come in and talk about race and racism, and most importantly, anti-racism. That's the goal, to teach about anti-racism for Gateway to Change. And after a full day of workshops on Friday, many of our students came back on Saturday to present their future plans for how to deal with courageous discussions around race and how to promote anti-racism in their own communities.
Okay, great. So can any of you guys say what those future plans were that you came up with?
Well, at Spencerport High School, we currently have a movement that we started called SHS Love Movement, and we are putting together a video of students that show diversity within our school and the different types of cultures that are within our schools. And the students that are here are also in the videos, and we are hoping to show it to our school sometime by the end of this month.
That's great. Are you gonna put it out in other places too?
Yes, we're gonna start with the Board of Education to show them, and then during like our freshman orientation, and then go towards the other like elementary schools and things that's in our communities.
That's great.
Very nice.
At
Brockport High School, we decided to create a documentary to take all the lives of all the students and kind of put it together and show that everyone comes from a different background, but that's what should really bring us together. We'll be showing it Wednesday at our Peace Day during an assembly.
You know, I want to jump in here and tell you that your superintendent and I have talked about your work and how the work at Brockport is helping to deal with issues that have come up recently. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, there's a lot of things that go on in our school and stuff, good and bad, but it's great to kind of not really focus on the diverse part, but really decide that we should come together and we should look to each other to kind of, I guess, show that there's more to diversity than just being different groups of people and different races.
Great, thank you.
At Fairport High School, we are in the making of starting a club called DREAM, which stands for Demonstrate Racial Equality for All Mankind. It's a club that explores racial tensions and really getting the kids to talk about it, because we found that a lot of the kids didn't want to talk about it, or they were uncomfortable talking about it. So our goal was just to get everyone together, and we did a forum, and we're in the makings of creating a club at Fairport High School.
is that during the Friday forums that you have at Fairport? Is that when you do it, or is there a different
We did
time?
it during lunch periods, and I think we had about 70 kids come during the course of 3 lunch periods. So we had like an after-school meeting, I think 2 weeks ago, and we had about 25 kids show up. So.
Nice.
At Penfield, the first thing we're doing is we are going to host our own little summit within our school. So we're going to do each grade level, and we're going to do it during gym periods where the kids are going to come in. For the first 20 minutes, they're going to take a survey about the race throughout the school. And then after that, we're going to talk to them about what we learned at the summit back in January. Then we're going to talk about the Urban Suburban program and explain to them more about what is Urban Suburban and how that every kid that is African American is not in Urban Suburban. They can live in Penfield as well. So we're going to talk to them. We're going to try to break down some of the barriers and stereotypes that they have. And then I believe later on after that, we're going to even host another summit where we're going to do what kind of happened at Irondequoit. And we're going to have all the schools that were at Irondequoit that in January come to Penfield.
Well, I know your principal was talking with Jalen.
Yes,
right?
yes, she
and
was.
trying to get a date after APs, right? So probably end of May type of idea. And Penfield, of course, claimed the rights to the next summit, so we're glad that you're continuing to work on it.
We're also like doing the Friday forum that Fairport does too. So, yeah, we thought that they had like a great idea, so we just taken that idea and escalated it a little bit more.
At my school, we already had an established branch of my group, GIS Scholars, at our school. Our goal was to expand that a little bit, and we did not only training young people in how to make maps and how to analyze data and how to perform data management tasks, but also provide them with educational opportunities and employment opportunities.
Nice.
Great. So what changes have you seen both in yourself and in your community since you've attended this summit?
A lot more people are vocal about being able to talk about race relations. At the time that we did the summit, that's right after we watched I'm Not a Racist and my documentary. That's right after, at least at School Without Walls, our staff read Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. So it was very much an influx of people wanting to talk about race relations.
At our school, I feel like the original 8 students who went to the race summit were able to stop like the jokes and things that most people are putting out there, and like we're able to see the things that we probably turned like a blind eye to. So I feel like a lot of people are getting, even though we on the day of the race summit, we did a lot of tweets and like Instagramming. So like people saw what we were doing while we were at the race summit. So I feel like when we came back and showed that we were like really trying to make a difference, I feel like it had an effect on like our close friends and things like that. So even though we haven't really started our movement and made it like known just yet, but it has made an effect from our being there and like, yo, that's not funny or things like that.
What did Alexis just say that could help someone here identify it for everyone, the difference between non-racist and anti-racist? Do you remember from the summit? You want to take it?
So a non-racist is someone who chooses to not engage in racist activities or saying racist things, but an anti-racist is someone who takes a stand against racism and like says, yo, that's not funny when they hear a negative stereotype or joke or trope.
And that's what you were talking about,
Yeah.
right, Alex?
At our school, we had an existing class already, but it was isolated to only Arcadia. After the race summit, that was the first time that all 4 of the Greece schools got together, and we decided to make it a district-wide club and try to further our class and expand it.
There were some great connections made with just the kids that made it there, but I was so happy to hear that today because your 4 high schools, I mean, even West Irondequoit and East Irondequoit got to talk more than we usually do at the January summit. So there were some great connections there. John?
And to tag along with that, I'm also from the school, not only just the 4 high schools, but I was talking to some student body leaders at Brighton, and they said they're starting a class involved with ours. So
I think they called theirs. I think they named theirs Mosaic as well at Brighton. Yeah. So they definitely want to come to the next summit. They missed the first one, so they've made it clear to us.
I feel Gateway to Change kind of gave me an opportunity to become closer to my teachers and also my principal. Through this experience, I really bonded with her and shared views with her. She's also shared a lot of stories she's heard, and really gave her an opportunity, I guess, to express what she's seen and how she sees things. And then also when I approach other students, I just see them a different way from what she's told me. I also became really close with Tandi, always going back and forth, shooting different ideas. She's become a great leader throughout this and really has carried the team. And it's a great opportunity, I think. And more people, more districts, more states really should get into this because it can change a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought Gateway to Change was like a really good opportunity to understand other people's background and upbringing. And I heard a lot of personal stories that I've never like thought of or understood until hearing it from their point of view.
I would say one thing I know at Penfield is, I know one thing that Jalen said at the conference that really stuck with me was that it's not that talking about racism is a hard topic, it's an uncomfortable topic. And we have to begin to move towards getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's one thing I realized at Penfield, that it's not that people don't want to talk about it, it's that when we do talk about it, it's an uncomfortable topic. And that's why we have to set boundaries and respect and understand that, this conversation is not that it's uneducational, it's uncomfortable. And so I think we need to move towards being comfortable with this topic. All of us sitting here, we're already comfortable with it. I kind of think like the people who came to Gateway to Change were already comfortable with the topic of the racism. So it's now us going into the schools and talking to our friends and say, hey, you know what? I know this is a tough topic, but you know what? We're in a safe setting. Nobody's going to disrespect each other. So let's talk about this. Let's break down the barriers. Let's explain, how do you feel? How do you, because especially in the news today, we got to talk about it, because if we continue on this path of not talking about it, nothing's ever going to change.
Tom, you mentioned the documentary, I'm Not Racist, Am I? How many of you have been able to see that documentary? 1, 2, Tom is 3, I'm 4. You didn't see it?
No.
I want you to know that we're trying to get that documentary back so more people can see it, because would you agree, Tom, it was a good experience to watch, 12 kids from New York City for a year, right? Would you guys, those of you who saw it, do you think that would be a good thing to be able to pull back? So keep your ears open for that. We're trying to get it not only for next fall, but also this spring before we lose seniors to their next endeavors.
I recommended the documentary Dark Girls to my principal too. That's a really good documentary too.
I know some others wanted to answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, back to what we were saying, the documentary is through PAC, which is the Principal Advisory Council, and with that we also we talked more about racial issues, but we also hit the topics about disabilities and stereotypes, and we also had urban suburban students talk and how our typical day would look like and what's different and what we experienced through what the people say in our school. And also back to what she said, breaking down barriers, we also have BDB through Diversity Club on Fridays, where people come and have a debate and you discuss a topic about what people think. But sometimes it doesn't really work because people like to hold back what they want to say because they feel uncomfortable talking about race. So we're some people feel as if we come off strong and people don't want to talk to us or feel like they can say anything. But we are understanding as long as you know what you're talking about through the whole situation.
So those things happen on Friday afternoons or in the mornings? Or
Friday during advisement and Ms. Gansner.
Oh, sure. Okay.
What other obstacles and surprises have you found since you've implemented these solutions and as you go on in your life?
This movement gave me a time not to just fight for just what I believe, because Muslims are being treated as terrorists and stuff. I thought all Muslims were just today Muslims are being stereotyped and stuff. But when I was doing that with all my friends, there's a lot of people, not just Muslim, but non-Muslim, and all the black and whites get their stereotype too. And it gave me time, to kind of not change it for Islam, but also change it for everybody in the United States also, and everybody outside the United States.
It's too bad that so many of us, all of us, have been marginalized in one way or another by people's bias or their fears, right?
Yes.
I know you wanted to say something. I'm going back up there.
Back to what you said about people being afraid to speak their mind, around their friends. I mean, when we first did our first meeting, we had everyone separate, and then we broke into like smaller groups because people are more likely to speak in smaller groups than like a big group with their friends, you know what I mean? And then what they expect their friends want to hear, and they're not honestly saying it. So like a good idea would be to move everyone around and make sure they're not with people that they know, to solve that problem.
You mentioned a question you had was the struggles. A big struggle that is with a lot of people that I talk to, because even after the summit that we did with Gateway to Change, I made a Twitter. Everything on there is about, you know, treating others respectfully and love, and I really open that to everybody. I'm trying to get as many people to be open on, not just in person but also on the internet, because there's a lot of problems there. But a big thing is what people have to realize, there's a lack of respect, there's a lack of love and compassion for people. That was a big thing that I talked about at the meeting. That's the struggle with the things that are going on around the world, and you know what she was saying about Muslims being blamed for that small extremist group. That's ridiculous. That's not racism. That's a lack of compassion and love. They don't care about other people. There's a lot of people who don't.
Empathy, respect, dignity for all.
One problem that we have specifically with our class is there's a small group of people in our school who think that the class is specifically towards minorities. Since it is a multicultural class, we have a very diverse group, the most diverse in our whole school. So people think that almost the white population in our school thinks that they shouldn't join up because it's only from people of color, but it's only a small group. Others know that it's open to everyone to talk about racism and any other types of isms and phobias.
At our school, our struggle would be trying to get everyone that we thought would deal with, you know, some type of, you know, what's the word I'm missing? But it's some type of, there you go. And like, we tried to get everyone, so like we started off with just our group, and then we wanted to go with like people who were disabled, and then we wanted to deal with people who were having like their sexuality and things like that. And then we had the thought of not trying to hurt people's feelings, so we didn't want to say stereotypes. So like it took a lot of like headbutting throughout our, you know, throughout our like sketching out our video to make sure that we didn't hurt other people's feelings, but at the same time get our story across and get our point across, and make sure get everyone else's point across, so that it's not just about, you know, diversity in the school and about you know, the different races and the minorities. It's about everyone's human at the end of the day, and everyone should be treated the same. So whether you know my story or not, you should know that I should be treated the same way you will want to be treated.
Going back to what he said, like how racism doesn't reject anybody from the conversation. Like at our school, most people, they just introduced like an African American history class. Most people, other than African Americans, didn't want to take the class because they would feel uncomfortable. But it was open to everyone, and now that they see it, they're kind of more open to learning more things about it.
But it's actually important that all different races do take that class, and people need to realize that, right?
A struggle I see is simply that you can't hit everything, because we had a student who is disabled and has a lot of views, and there's so many disabilities out there, and it's so hard to really express all of those disabilities to everyone so everyone understands, simply because we didn't have enough time in being able to express every last one of them. And I felt that was a struggle, just being able to hit on every aspect.
So how many of you are seniors? Okay, so are you making sure as seniors that there are underclassmen that will extend the conversation when you have graduated, so that we end up having the time, right, to continue the conversation so it doesn't stop? Great.
I'd just like to go off with what you said right there about seniors. The majority of people that went to the summit from our school were seniors. And now that we've come back, we've started to learn that as we were trying to implement our new club called Keeping It Real, that because they're seniors, it's kind of hard for them to get interested in it. So we're kind of lacking in our school a big push behind it, because more than, I believe we had 8 come and 6 were seniors. That's a big gap where me and Ashley were the only 2 juniors that attended, and for us to push this whole movement by ourselves is a really difficult challenge.
Who could give some advice on how to get the underclassmen?
What you could do is also other clubs, how you have the younger classmen. Through Urban Suburban, we already have a connection with them. So what you do is you discuss with them, like, oh, maybe you guys want to come join this club. Like, you encourage them to be more involved because they're already standoffish. Like, oh, there's a bunch of seniors. You have to speak out to them, reach out to them, like, encourage them, make them feel like they want to be in the club. That's what you have to do.
You can have like an underclassman leader because they're a lot more relatable to their peers than like a senior, or I'm a junior. So I mean, it's easier for a sophomore to recruit a sophomore than like a senior trying to recruit a sophomore.
We had 3 junior high students, 7th and 8th graders, in our group, and I think they're really buying into the whole process. They're pretty quiet, but they're getting older and much more mature. I think they're going to be able to take it ahead.
I would say that for our team at Penfield that's playing the Summit, it's majority, I think it's probably 3 seniors on the team. So it's a majority underclassmen or majority juniors who are on the team. So they're able to kind of carry the torch as they get older and probably get more people involved. But I would definitely say kind of like what we're doing by splitting freshmen and sophomores. So kind of maybe split the groups into 2. And then like as time progresses, then go on to combine both the upperclassmen and the underclassmen, and maybe that might work to do.
Well, thank you all so much for your input, and thank you for watching. Make sure you check out our website, Talkback4Teens. That's Talkback4Teens with a 4. And we have a Facebook, and we have a Twitter and an Instagram, all Talkback4Teens. Check that out, and make sure to watch the next segment of this episode. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Chains like an autumn mountain, chains like a grand escape, chains like the stars falling.
We're just getting going.
Chains like a light on a fade, and it's a chain